Greetings, beloveds. So I want to continue the kind of discussion I was started yesterday about the awakening process. So the awakening process, this awakening into this new paradigm, is basically about awakening to the fact that the way that we've been living is based on a foundation of lies, basically. That what we've been told reality is, or this idea of a consensus reality, is not inherent. It's not necessarily true. And it's realizing that a lot of the the basic structures of how we've been perceiving reality are based on fear and lack and separation. That's how at the root of the majority of our endeavors and our means of perception. But it's also awakening to the fact that this is something we inherited. It's a cultural programming. You inherit all these programs on your computer base. On the way you're seeing things, and so you kind of come into the world already getting this particular program of how to see reality. That is cultural programming, and then you get further programming from your parents and your upbringing, your schooling, and it's constantly pointing away from you. It's basically reinforcing this notion that um, reality is outside of you. So what we're kind of waking up to is our creative power in how we make our realities, and realizing, wait a second, I don't I'm like manifesting somebody else's script, you know? I don't have to do that. I and everything that I've been told to value, I don't have to value those things. And so what awakening is, like, I think the first step of awakening is kind of realizing your situation, realizing how deeply entangled in it you are, how much you have surrendered control to this external force instead of surrendering control to this internal force. And so, that's step one, is realize, oh shit. That's the step one of awakenings. Oh shit. I've been I've been living a lie. I've been living somebody else's script. And so when you know, and so this is all supposed to be empowering. This is all what it all comes down to is personal empowerment. But that first step of that, of taking your power back, is that kind of realization that you've given it away. And then it's a remembrance of our divinity and our creative capacity. And usually, it's this kind of feeling of we haven't really been living up to that capacity. They were so much more than we've been told that we are. And they were so much more powerful than we've been told we are. And, so different people react to this differently. Like, some people, it elicits a feeling of anger, and rightfully so, I think, because, there are forces that want to keep us in this fear-based, separated, disempowered state. But those powers that be only have power because we've given it to them. So, like I said, the world is a mirror. It's just a mirror for what's going on within us. And so there's, that is the reality that we were manifesting for a long time, because nobody was stepping up, and basically we forfeited our our power, our our authority. We basically all fell asleep and just forgot that's how it is. And so, you do, if you do give up your power to an external, then it does have power over you. If you wake up and you realize, wait, I'm an autonomous being, I create my reality in every moment, that's when your power comes back. So you take responsibility for it. And that empowerment, it basically, it comes from that realization, and that idea that no matter what anybody does to you, it's you're constantly in every moment manifesting what you believe. So for me in my journey, it's been really empowering to view all moments as moments that I've created. And so there's really nothing to fear at any moment, because I created this moment by nature of my own existence. So really the question is, what's the treasure that I've hidden in that moment? What's the lesson that I've hidden for myself in each moment? And that's really that's just so empowering, because because you realize that every circumstance, every situation has something for you in it. There is no, even potentially challenging situations are really only that. They're just challenging, and they're not negative. You you could interpret it as negatively, or you could interpret it positively. You could interpret it as, this is something this is a lesson that I'm leaving for myself. I think a lot of people, when they meet resistance and they meet some kind of, in their interactions, this kind of something's not in resonance. Someone pushes your buttons. I think that's a moment, that's an opportunity to really dive in and like really get an awareness of yourself in that moment. Like, why did this push my buttons? Why, how? Because basically, if someone's pushed your buttons, or if someone says something to you, and it elicits a response without you thinking about it, just you are just emotionally reactive to it, that's giving up your power. That's basically being like, you you have the power to take me out of my blissful serenity like state. You've given them the power to do that. So the real question is, why? Why have you done that? Why have you allowed yourself to be taken out of your peaceful, blissful, divine center? And I think that usually it's because someone will say something that usually is a reflection of something about ourselves that we haven't fully uh, accepted and integrated. Um, and I think also, it's like if someone says something to you and it hurts your feelings, like someone says something about you and it hurts your feelings, or it elicits a response, a reactive response. That's basically telling you that some part of you actually believes that thing that they said about you is possible. You know, because if you didn't, if you were 100% aware of yourself and loving of yourself and accepting of yourself, then if someone said something, like you're a jerk or something, or you just whatever, if they bring you down, then that would mean that some part of you actually uh, believed that was possible. If you felt something, because otherwise you'd be like, that has nothing to do with me. So no, you don't get to have an emotional reaction from me, or like my my vibratory state is staying the same, or ideally raising, so yeah, I think the new paradigm is all about embracing. It doesn't put, it's like everyone's invited. It's all encompassing. So all the aspects of yourself, even the shadow aspects, they're all you have 100% love and acceptance of those aspects. And so the more you love and accept all the imperfect aspects of yourself, the the more you can accept those in other people, and just generally the more compassionate you end up being, the more understanding, because you see other people's you know imperfections as your own. You just start to see it. When you approach reality from a foundation of love and oneness and abundance, you see everybody as a mirror, as just a reflection of yourself. So if you have a problem with somebody else, you really have, you have a problem with yourself, or basically, otherwise you just understand that there's people, everyone's kind of on their own path of awakening and remembrance. So that for me has been really helpful, is like n- not having to, it's like other people are wherever they are. It's not my problem. I'm working on my stuff and you're working on yours. Um, yeah, and so just that idea of like just really embracing anything that comes up um, within yourself. Whatever emotions you have, I think that's really important. Is like just not being attached to whatever comes up in this awakening process, because stuff's gonna come up. It's because this awakening is about awareness. It's like we're living in the dark for a really long time, and now all the lights are coming on. It's like, whoa, you know. I didn't know that was inside me. You know. So like practice compassion for yourself and forgiveness for yourself, and like allow those things to come up, because basically an emotion is just, it's like the same thing as, it's trying to show you something. It's basically trying to it has a lesson for you. So if you push it away and you repress it, it's you're not really helping yourself, because it's still going to be there. It's still going to like knocking on the door. And so instead, like the new paradigm, it's like you're having a party, and like everyone's invited. You don't turn anybody away. It's like everyone's included, even even like the uncomfortable sensations and feelings and thoughts. And when you approach things from that allowing kind of perspective, those those things cease to have any power over you, because you allow them to have their expression, and then they go. Um, and you honor them. You honor those parts of yourself that are, because if you're having an uncomfortable emotion, then it's really trying to teach you something about yourself, and it's a moment to like stop. You're like, what is the source? What's the root of this? Like urging you to dig deep, go deep, figure it out, because it's just gonna keep coming up. It's just gonna like until you learn the lesson, it's just gonna keep coming up, and you're gonna keep manifesting circumstances where that lesson has to be learned until you learn the lesson. It's like, so if I think this is something a lot of people are experiencing these days. Like, they're like, I keep just this. It's like the same thing keeps coming up in my life in these different ways, like, why does this keep happening? And it's because there's some lesson, fundamental lesson, that you're not learning, because once you learn the lesson, the circumstance requiring the lesson goes away, and the dominating thought or emotion behind the circumstance goes away. So really, it's like those are real, like indications of where to look to and where to explore further for like, because it basically means like this is an area of yourself that's in the dark that you're unaware of. You need to bring that into awareness, and that's what the new paradigm is about: awareness, the full awareness, um, and yeah, just not repressing things, just really allowing. There's a space for everybody, you know. Uh, there's a vibration for everybody. So then things aren't really about uh, good or bad. It's just they're just frequencies and resonance. You know, you encounter somebody, and there's a there's no resonance. You're out of resonance with that person, or you meet somebody and you are in resonance with them.